Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through all that noise and really get you straight to the core of what's new and important, especially in science. Today, we've got a really fascinating mix, some incredible new findings that, well, they literally stretch from the tiniest proteins all the way to the biggest black holes. So our plan is to unpack these surprising discoveries one by one. We want to give you the clearest possible picture of what's happening right at the cutting edge.
Exactly. And what's so exciting, I think, is just the sheer breadth of it all. You see human ingenuity kind of firing on all cylinders, and just, a few reports. We're going to look at not just what they found, but really dig into why it matters to you, and what it means for the bigger picture.
Okay, let's jump right in then. First up, something, well, it's truly remarkable and honestly quite heartwarming. Who knew our furry friends, dogs, could be medical pioneers? There's new research showing dogs, specifically trained to use their sense of smell, have shown, well, astounding accuracy in identifying Parkinson's disease. So get this. In a double-blind trial, they could pick out skin swabs from people with Parkinson's. Their sensitivity was up to 80%.
80%, yeah.
Meaning they got 8 out of 10 correct for those who had it. And the specificity was 98%.
Which is incredibly high. Very few false positives.
Exactly. But here's the really groundbreaking part, the kicker. They could do this even before any physical symptoms showed up. Years before, potentially.
And that is the game changer. I mean, think about it. If we can detect Parkinson's years before symptoms really start to manifest, that just opens up a whole new way to approach the disease. You're talking about potential interventions, treatments that can maybe slow it down, maybe even halt progression before serious damage occurs.
Instead of just managing symptoms later on.
Precisely. Moving towards prevention, or at least much, much earlier treatment. It's a huge shift.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so shifting gears quite a bit now, moving from the biological to the truly cosmic. But happening right here on Earth, scientists have developed this really powerful new technique, and it's producing record-breaking magnetic fields right in the lab. How they're doing it is pretty neat. They're using swirling plasma, superheated gas basically, inside these tiny little laser-blasted tubes, microtubes.
Yeah.
And this swirling plasma generates these incredibly intense magnetic fields. Fields that actually rival what you'd find near, say, a neutron star.
Wow.
All in a compact lab setup.
That's a major step. This kind of innovation, it promises to transform fields from astrophysics, obviously, to fusion energy research.
Yeah.
I mean, for astrophysics, you can suddenly study these extreme cosmic conditions, replicate them in a controlled way, not just observe them light years away.
Right, understand them better.
Exactly. And for fusion, controlling powerful magnetic fields is, well, it's absolutely key to containing that super hot plasma you need. It really makes you wonder, what other extreme cosmic stuff could we replicate and study in the lab next? What's the next frontier there?
Yeah, fascinating question.
All right.
Hey, speaking of surprising discoveries, sometimes the biggest insights aren't about, cosmic extremes, but about looking again at things right here, like a literary riddle. This one's for the history buffs, the literary detectives listening. It's about the Song of Roe Wade. So for over 130 years, scholars were just baffled by this lost text. But recently, researchers at Cambridge, they reinterpreted it. And the big reveal, it's actually a chivalric romance, not some monster-filled myth like they thought. And the key twist, the thing that unlocked it all, was reinterpreting just one single word.
Isn't that amazing? It's just, well, it's compelling how one word, one tiny shift in understanding can completely reframe how we see a historical text, a cultural narrative. Even after, 130 years of thinking we knew what it was or wasn't, it really shows you that scholarship is, it's always dynamic. There's always more to uncover.
Absolutely. Okay, staying with history for a moment, but shifting focus again. This time to something maybe more relatable day-to-day. Health. Get ready to have your ideas about old-fashioned health remedies, especially from medieval times, completely flipped. They're getting a bit of a reputation makeover.
Yeah, new research is showing that medieval medicine is actually being seriously reevaluated. It turns out early Europeans were actively exploring healing practices, and these were based on nature, on observation, on, practical experience. And some of these, 1,000-year-old health hacks, they're not only trending again, but modern science is actually starting to back some of them up. It really makes you challenge those assumptions, doesn't it? About the Dark Ages or the wisdom of the past. How much more knowledge, historical knowledge might be out there. Stuff we've just dismissed as superstition, maybe, waiting for modern science to take a closer look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good reminder that observation, practical experience, that's always been core to discovery no matter the era.
Definitely. Okay, hold on to your hats now because we're jumping back to space for something truly Universe shaking, we're talking about two monster black holes colliding. These are among the most massive ever seen, smashing together out there in deep space. And this colossal event, I mean, it created gravitational waves, ripples in space-time itself that we actually detected here. The resulting black hole, they've named it GW2311L23, weighs in at an absolutely staggering 225 times the mass of our sun.
225 solar masses.
Formed from two already gargantuan, rapidly spinning black holes, which were probably formed from earlier collisions themselves. This thing is so extreme, it's genuinely shaking up astrophysical theory.
Yeah, what's fascinating, or maybe concerning depending on your theory, is that a collision this massive, resulting in a black hole that big, well, according to some models, it just shouldn't exist. It pushes right up against the upper limits of what we thought was possible for black hole formation and growth.
So our models need updating.
Pretty much. It forces us to refine those cosmic models. It tells us the universe is, still full of surprises, especially at its most extreme scales. Our understanding of how these giants form, it's clearly still evolving.
Wow. Okay, so from the absolute largest scales, let's zoom all the way down, right down to the smallest building blocks of life. Our deep dive continues with something that could genuinely redefine biology. Scientists think they've uncovered a surprisingly simple tissue code. Get this, it seems to consist of just 5 rules, 5 basic instructions. And these rules apparently choreograph everything. When cells divide, where they move, how they die. Allowing organs, like say your colon, to stay perfectly organized, even though it's constantly renewing itself every few days.
5 rules. It's profoundly elegant, isn't it?
It sounds too simple.
Well, that's the beauty, maybe. If organs really are shaped by just 5 fundamental rules, think about the implications, especially for understanding and maybe treating diseases where that organization breaks down. Things like cancer, right, where cells basically start ignoring the rules. This simplicity, this tissue code, it hints at maybe some really deep fundamental principles governing all life, an underlying order we didn't fully appreciate.
Amazing. Okay, and finally, we've got one more discovery today, and this one truly sounds like something straight out of science fiction. It offers potentially huge hope for some really devastating conditions. Researchers in Osaka have unveiled a new drug. It's called GAI-17. And what it does is it stops the toxic clumping of a specific protein, GAPDH, which is involved in cell damage after things like stroke. Now, in tests on mice, GAI-17 drastically reduced brain damage and paralysis. But here's the incredible part. It worked even when they gave it 6 hours after the stroke occurred.
6 hours?
Yeah, like a 6-hour undo button for stroke damage. And early signs suggest it might well promise for Alzheimer's too.
That time window. 6 hours. That's unprecedented for stroke intervention. It's genuinely groundbreaking. For stroke victims, this could potentially save millions of lives, vastly improve outcomes. It changes the whole time frame we think about for critical treatment.
A much bigger window of opportunity.
Exactly. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of targeted therapy going after specific protein clumps, well, it opens up whole new avenues, doesn't it, for tackling other neurodegenerative diseases where protein clumping is a factor and where getting in early has always been the biggest challenge.
So quite a journey we've been on today. What does this all mean when you put it together? From dogs sniffing out Parkinson's to black holes that shouldn't exist, ancient wisdom getting a second look, this tissue code, a stroke undo button. The pace of discovery across all these fields, it's not just constant. It feels like it's accelerating. It's truly breathtaking.
It really is. And this deep dive, I think, it just perfectly illustrates that the world, the universe, it's just an endless source of wonder, isn't it? Every new finding, whether it confirms something ancient or shatters a modern theory, it continually surprises us, both with its complexity and sometimes, like with the tissue code, its underlying simplicity. It really encourages, I hope it encourages you listening to keep that sense of curiosity sharp and that critical thinking too, because new knowledge so often forces us to reevaluate what we thought we knew.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, here's a final thought to maybe mull over. How might all these seemingly separate discoveries we talked about, the dog's sense of smell, the structure of our organs, colliding black holes, ancient remedies, how might they be secretly interconnected? Could they be whispering hints about an even grander blueprint of the universe, one that we're only just beginning to decipher?